Hey everybody, it's me Morgan, of course, and I'm here today with my friend Riham talking about the current issues of the refugee slash Muslim ban going on right now with Trump and his executive orders. So what I'm going to do is have Riham introduce herself, and then she's going to talk about her organization, some books if you want to know more about like refugees in the Muslim community in general, and then suggestions on what to do to help people being affected by the situation. All right, Riham.
My name is Riham Osman, and I am the digital media and communication strategist at the Muslim Public Affairs Council. And pretty much what we are, we're a policy organization, so we engage with people in the government, media, and Hollywood to impact public understanding and public perceptions and public policies that impact the American Muslim community.
Awesome. So first, can you tell us and my YouTube viewers what is going on with the refugee Muslim ban? I also know that a lot of things are changing rapidly, so just give a summary the best you can.
Yeah, so there's been a lot going on. I feel like everything is changing, like literally minute by minute. There's always something happening new with this. There's even been questions, is this even a Muslim ban? It's people have been saying it's a travel ban in general, but if you look back during the campaign season, Donald Trump himself said that he was going to ban Muslims from this country until we figure out what's going on, right? So he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he has chosen 7 countries. A lot of people are saying it's the same countries that the Obama administration had kind of like focused in on, which is true. They focused on them, but they did not ban those countries. So Donald Trump took it to a completely different level and decided to ban all visas from those countries. There was a time where it was impacting green card holders, but I think they're okay for now. But the problem is it goes against everything this country is about. My family, we immigrated from Sudan to the U.S. when I was 5 years old, so about 20 years ago. So to think that had my family decided to immigrate today, that wouldn't happen is really scary to think about. And it's just sad to think about all those opportunities we're missing out on. I have a lot of friends who are immigrants, and they contribute so much to this country. They're going on to do all these amazing things. So to take away all those people, to ban them just because of their religion or their national origin is crazy. That's literally what America is based on.
Yeah. So, with all that said, can you suggest 3 books for people to read about the Muslim community? My channel focuses on books, so that I wanted to make sure that was in there.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like you said, a lot is changing. But if people want to know more about this community and you gave your personal story, what are some other things they could read if they just want to know more about the community in general?
Yeah, okay, so I have 3 great books to recommend. The first one is, it's called Muslim Girl, A Coming of Age, and it's by Amani El-Khataibi, who I know personally. She is the CEO of MuslimGirl.net, so it's pretty much this blog that was founded. I used to read it actually back in college, and it's really just like blown up. It's become such a big deal. It's been featured in many media outlets, but the founder of that blog has actually gone on to write this book, and it's pretty much about herself. It's about her 9-year-old self who grew up in a post 9/11 era. And the reason I would definitely recommend this book is because it reminds me of myself. It's my experience. It's the experience of so many young Muslims from around the world, and specifically in America, who grew up, with this really negative light shed on a religion. And I think a lot of people will be able to understand the struggles of young Muslims, just kind of like why we think the way we do. I think it's an important read. The second book I would recommend is called Born Palestinian, Born Black by Suhair Hamad. And it's actually a collection of poems, which is really different. And what I really like about this is it kind of talks about, the author, she grew up as a refugee. She was a Palestinian refugee, and her family decided to immigrate to Brooklyn. So she talks about her struggles as a Palestinian woman, but she also talks about race. And I think that's so important because actually, like when the Black Lives Matter movement really became a big deal, you saw a lot of people comparing the Black Lives Matter movement to the Palestinian movement. Because they kind of experience a lot of the same struggles.
Yeah, I remember a lot of that.
So I think that book is a really interesting read just because it touches on race. And then the last one I would recommend, it's called Muslim Cool, Race, Religion, and Hip Hop in the United States by Suad Abdul Khabir.
I think some people have come by my store and asked for that book.
Yeah, so actually I think the book is popular because there was an article in The Atlantic that talked about it. It's really cool. So she pretty much talks about how she grew up in New York, and she talks about Muslim Cool and how she was like a big hip hop head, and how like hip hop had a huge influence on her thinking, you know, Islam was cool growing up. Nice. There was a time when there was like a lot of like I guess Muslim Islamic influence in hip hop, and it was cool to be Muslim back then. I think now like hip hop has transformed a lot. You're seeing a lot less of Islamic references. But she just talks about what Muslims have contributed to make America cool. I don't know. That was an interesting one.
Nice. Yeah, those are some interesting books, and should give like a cool yet important outlook on just Muslim life in America in general. And like you said, immigrating to this country as Muslim or as Black, or you know, just being other in America. So, so do you have any suggestions for people maybe being affected by the travel ban, or I'm not sure exactly how to explain it right now, but just people maybe being physically but yet emotionally affected by everything that's going on in the press right now?
Yeah, so I think I do have a lot of friends who are impacted by it, even if like it's not directly, they know somebody who was, and it's definitely having a toll on their kind of like mental state. For me, I know I was definitely depressed last week, but I think like what's helped me get through it is to focus on the positive parts. I don't know if like you saw the Daily Show. There was this one segment in the Daily Show, it was hilarious. So there's Hassan Minhaj. He's a Muslim guy, and he's one of like the main correspondents on the Daily Show, and he had this one skit where he pretty much was talking about how he has never in his like 31 years of life felt cool as a Muslim in America until the day he got off a plane, and then he walked through it. Everyone was like chanting welcome, you know, like you saw all that footage of everyone at the airports. I was there too, and I felt cool. Like I walked up, like these like random white women were like, welcome, you know, thank you for being here. I've never had anyone thank me in my life for being here. So it, like, there's a lot of positive stuff that came out. Like Donald Trump has literally tried to divide us as a country, and in many ways he brought us together. I saw something online where this Iraqi person was talking about how like their entire life they felt like Americans hated them, and then after this whole Muslim ban, they realized Americans don't hate them. Yes, Donald Trump might hate them, but they don't feel like Americans hate them because people were leaving their houses and going to the airports and protesting. I don't think that's ever been done before. I didn't even know it was possible to protest at the airport, but
yeah,
it is. Yeah. I was like, it's gonna get shut down in 5 minutes, but it's going on for days now. But I think it really has shown that there are a lot of people in this country who care, and like we're resisting. Like I actually think it's beautiful. Sometimes when I think about how people are resisting, and people who aren't even directly impacted by a lot of the policies Donald Trump has, you know, tried to make happen, they're still standing up. Like for me, I think that's such a beautiful thing. I don't think we would have known that without him, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna thank him for like his executive order.
Yeah.
But he has brought out like the best in us, I think. He has brought out the worst in some people, but he's brought out the best in others. So honestly, I would say focus on that stuff. Yeah, like focus on your mental health right now. I think a lot of people are so depressed they don't want to do anything, but resistance works. Like we've seen that in like the past it's only been 2 weeks. I know it feels like it's been a lifetime since Trump became president, but it's been 2 weeks and we're already seeing change happen. So I think as long as like we keep resisting, I'm seeing people who have never called their member of Congress like start to call now. Like we can make a change.
Great. Staying positive is something I have a hard time with too, but that was a good suggestion, and definitely a doable suggestion. Suggestions for people who are not a part of the Muslim community but who want to help out the community. So obviously reading the books and staying, you know, taking her suggestion and reading those books will help. But what are some other resources or suggestions that you might have?
So aside from calling your members of Congress, I know like everyone's afraid, like, you know, these executive orders seem so final, but it's really not. Like, I think as long as we can still make a change by calling our members of Congress and asking them to oppose these executive orders, like that's something we can do. A lot of members of Congress kind of have like stayed silent. A lot have spoken out, but a lot have stayed silent. So I think putting pressure on them to like speak out is really important. And then second, I would say to humanize Muslims. I think right now is like the time where we need to like humanize those stories of what's happening to people. I think like when we stay silent, things kind of like go under the radar, and it's as if it never happened, and then the government gets away with it, right? But as long as you're exposing those stories, and then not only like negative things, but I think you should also like humanize Muslims in a positive way. I think we're gonna see a lot more Muslims like in like films, TV shows. I think they're gonna become more humanized, kind of in the same way that happened with the LGBTQ community. Like if you look back at their history, like people look at them now, they're like, wow, they're so, you know, accepted in society. It wasn't always like that. Like they had it hard. They didn't just magically get an Ellen DeGeneres, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot, that took time. So I could see like the Muslim community getting our own Ellen DeGeneres in the next 48 years. And I really do think if people humanize Muslims, I think we're gonna see less hate crimes. I think people are afraid of what they don't know. So that's like why we're seeing a spike in hate crimes, and they're seeing only what the media is feeding them, or just you're seeing negativity all the time. So if you're showing like the positive sides, it's gonna create less fear, more acceptance and tolerance.
Nice. So can you let the people know if they would like to get in touch with you, where they could find you?
Yeah, okay, so you can follow me on Twitter at Riham_Osman, RIHAM_OSMAN, and on Instagram, Riham Osman.
Nice. So thanks, Riham. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. I know there's probably a lot going on out here lately. And thanks to everyone who watched this video. This is like a first interview for me and my channel. I will put all the links to Riham's information and the books that she suggested below. And have a great day. Bye.
Bye.